The biggest challenge we've had with this is chair awareness. And unfortunately, because it is a compulsory insurance cover, it is the most popular. So most people have heard about it, but very few people know about it. I will speak to a third party. Who is the third party? In a specific motor vehicle transaction, I will give an example of a taxi. The third party is the passenger, not the driver or the conductor. The conductor and the driver are considered as first party because they belong to the owner of the vehicle, they're actually workers. And we have another law which makes insurance of workers mandatory under workers' compensation. So those ones are supposed to be covered under workers' compensation. They are not third parties. The insurer, the one who has issued the insurance cover, is what we consider the second party. The third party are the 14 passengers. 14 passengers.
Sorry,
because
you said who is the second party?
The second party is the company that has issued the policy. In this case, the insurance company. And the third party are the passengers. The third party could also include the people walking on the roadside. Those are third parties. They may not be in the taxi, but the taxi loses stability and rams into pedestrians. Those ones are also called third parties. Somebody who is being carried on a bicycle and the taxi knocks them is also a third party. So what happens in this case? Many people, maybe before I reach there, let me again re-emphasize the issue of third party. Now, according to the law, that is the Motor Vehicle Third Party Risks Act, 1989, the compensation is limited to two things. Number one, bodily injury of the third party. And this is in respect to the associated medical bills for bodily injury. The second is death of a third party. And the limits are also defined by the law, up to a maximum of 1 million shillings per case and 10 million shillings in aggregate. Now, this is, if for instance it's a bus carrying, 57 passengers, the maximum that the insurer is mandated to pay, assuming the whole bus is involved in an accident and everybody is injured, is 10 million shillings. Maximum. But if you have 3 people, the maximum can be paid 1 million each. So 1 million per case, but in aggregate, 10 million. We are talking about the law of 1989, shortly after the currency reform in this country. 1 million shillings and 10 million shillings was significant. And from then, we have not revised it. We are just in the process of amending that law. So some people may be thinking about, what does 1 million shillings do? What does the 10 million shillings do? We are talking about 1989. The value of money has significantly come down with the passage of time. Honorable Chair, when you say many people don't claim, now, I want to stand here and mention without any fear of contradiction, Chair and members, that the claims which are reported are actually paid. The claims which are reported are actually paid. Payable claims reported are paid. But the challenge is that very few Ugandans report their claims. One would be the issue of awareness.
Procedure.
From our studies, what we have established as the probable causes of low claims, why many people are not claiming. And I will mention what we have done so far. One is awareness. And two, for those who have claimed and they have said that insurers have not paid, actually majority of them are not third parties. They claim when the vehicle has been knocked, they claim compensation, but the third party act does not extend to property damage. That should actually have been covered under motor comprehensive. 3, Chair and members, is the law limits. 1 million shillings, accessing it first of all, requires providing documentation, among others include the police report. Now, many Ugandans, I don't know, for one reason or the other, fear police. When you have been involved in an accident and the insurer requires evidence of an accident, which can only be provided by a competent authority, in this case, police, many people say, let's sort this issue away from police, and therefore the insurer at the other side never receives the claim. So when we look at all those issues, it is understandable why the claim rates for motor third party are low. Now, what have we done as a regulator? Maybe I should also have mentioned, Chair, government vehicles are not insured under motor third party. And when you look at the number, they are quite a number. The law does not make it compulsory for them to be insured under the current act. And they are quite a number. So when I heard the submission of the Minister of Health, the accidents are many, but who is causing these accidents? According to our statistics, about 700,000 units are insured annually. 700,000. And I know Mr. Katushabe knows that the numbers which are on the roads are maybe close to 2 million. I may not have the current statistics. He would be in the best position to mention that. Now, the majority of the bodabodas that we are talking about, which Mr. Kenneth mentioned that are the major causes of these accidents, the road traffic injuries, are actually not insured. Majority. Many of the vehicles also may not be insured, because why do we have in our records about 700,000? Yet we are talking of excess of 1 million, maybe 1.5 million. Meaning that people have found a way around it. Around either forgeries. Again, we are saying police is on the roads. I don't know how they bypass them. But from our records, I can confirm that there is a lot of non-compliance with this act. Now, what have we done in terms of interventions?
Yeah, sorry, before you...
The law does not make it mandatory for them. So for those that buy, actually it is a choice. It's not mandatory.
So it is a question of the law?
Yeah, it's the law.
Thank you.
So meaning that if a traffic may not demand for motor third party from a red number plated car.
Yeah, that's something, because you see, I wanted to explain who takes liability in that case.
Those are the cases which end up in Mulago and other hospitals. Government has to take charge.
No. So if the Speaker's convoy or the Prime Minister's convoy or the President, for the President we have seen envelopes. Sometimes I wish they knock my car, because we have seen they usually send back with an envelope in excess of the damage, like that one that happened in Boyogere. They knocked a goat and I think 2 million was sent. But those are one-offs. But if a government car knocks a taxi and people are injured,
I think, Chair, I don't want to claim knowledge in this, but Attorney General.
Okay, please.
Okay, when government vehicles are involved in road crashes, parties usually sue Attorney General. And of course, when you sue Attorney General, either government doesn't even have money to pay, or you go through a court process where you find even drivers actually were illegally using the vehicle. So it's a huge, my minister has put it, because I didn't want to go into detail of this, but it is in his presentation. And like he rightly put it, actually hit and run, it is even a huge risk, because you don't see the vehicle. Somebody has been knocked, so the person cannot even claim. So when it comes to hit and run, it's one of the other challenges. But the ministry thinks, and when my minister comes, I think he will present this. We thought IRA should look for a way of dealing with this. matter. Instead of leaving it to a victim and you say you cannot do anything. So to us it is an issue which IRA as a regulator should look into this and take appropriate action. And I think that fits in well with the Minister of Health. But Chair, when my minister presents, since I'm here to support him, then we can give this clarification.
Or what are we doing at the moment? One, we acknowledge that the Act in its current state is a legacy law. It has been overtaken by events. It does not promise a lot of value to the third parties. So number one, we are generally overhauling the law. Of course, in working together with the relevant agencies. Currently, we have a draft, but among other things that we have looked at, number one is to expand the scope of cover to also cover property damage, third-party property damage. So we are making it a mini motor comprehensive insurance so that if you are driving and they knock you, there is some cover for your vehicle as well. Number two, we are also proposing that government vehicles are brought on board. Now, reason, and I think this fits within Mr. Katushabe's submission, if we are to go the way of insurers covering the hit and run cases, the insurers also have to be sure that, in fact, the vehicle that hit and ran was insured. But if there is a possibility that some vehicles are insured under the law and others are not, then it would be unfair to say that the insurers cover the hit and run cases, supposing the hit was caused by an uninsured vehicle. But if we have all the units insured under the law, including government units, then the insurers can comfortably say that whichever vehicle may have caused this accident actually was insured, because all units are insured under the law. The third, Chair and members, that we are introducing is to revise the limits. 1 million and 10 million shillings now are very insignificant, and we are proposing revising these limits and putting them out of the law, but rather providing them for in the regulations, because we know that the process of making laws, amending laws, takes longer than changing or amending the regulations. Chair and members, I beg to submit unless there is a specific question that you'd want me to respond to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are civil society groups, people who have failed to get, I think I bumped into some of them, and they are so bitter with the insurance companies. People who have been maimed, people who have helped people chase for 1 million shillings. That's taken people a year. You know, somebody is in Kabale, coming here, police statements. You find you've put 3 million shillings to get a claim of 1 million shillings. So we need to listen to these groups, and they have a lot to tell us without preempting the discussion.